Man, welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. Back at it again. And me and Kraft, man, are getting you set up for your redraft. Me and Kraft got a bit. It's not Kraft's most important redraft league, but it's my most important redraft league, and it's coming up at the end of August. And I cannot wait. So me and Kraft trying to get you set up. We already hit you with the running backs. Thanks for listening to some of the divisions. We almost wrapped them up. We got a couple more. But now we hitting wide receivers, what everybody wants to talk to. Kraft, man, what say you, man?
Hey, man, Average Joe's has my Yahoo league has been here the longest, but Average Joe's is a great league, and it's like a 1A, 1B at this point. I want to win that league, something serious, but it's Friday night, the best night to record a podcast because you've been working your ass off all damn week.
Hey, man.
And it's just time to sit and talk football with your friends and just have a good time and argue and, get a little constructive criticism with what you got going on. But Friday nights are the best, man.
Yeah. Listen, I'm with you, Kraft, man. Man, been working like a dog. We just had Chris on our last episode. Everybody, all of us, we working like that's man. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that, man. The crew over here, we work. We got to do what we got to do. We love our fams. We all got kids and stuff. We all about the fams and stuff. So, sometimes me and the Kraft, man, Chris can't hop on all the time. Sometimes we got shit to do, but we love to fucking do this shit. And just really thank y'all for listening. I mean, heck, it's like me and Kraftman said when we started this thing. This is year 3, Kraftman. This is year 3 of doing this shit. We go and
Crazy.
did it way back in the day. We don't care if there's like fucking 4 people listening. I'm doing this shit till the day I die. As long as Kraftman's with me, I'm gonna roll it. I'm gonna do this shit till I'm old and gray, and maybe I'll have another mic by then. But this is what I do.
I hate to tell you, Matt, this is my last episode, bud.
Well, that is mine too, then, damn it.
I'm just playing. I'll be here as long as you're here, man. This is just what I look forward to all the time, man. Love talking fantasy football and getting into it, and the people that do listen, thank y'all for being with us for this long, and texting us and contacting us and telling us what you think, how stupid we are, how what you agree with, what you disagree with, but that's what we're here for.
Yep. And, if you listen to our pod, there's a thing at the top that says send a text message. You can comment on any episode. Me and the Kraft Man will see it. You can criticize us. We won't get mad. We won't get upset. We too old to give a fuck. You know what I'm saying, Kraft? I don't care if you hate on me anymore.
Yeah. You can hate on the accent all you want, man. I know I sound like a redneck, and it just is what it is. And I know my takes ain't the best. You can hate on that too. But
yeah,
sometimes negative criticism is better than nothing. That's the way I look at it.
And one thing, we say we throw a lot of takes out there. We do our rankings and stuff, but in the end, just do whatever the hell you want to do. That's the truth. Play fantasy the way you want to play. Say, Chris just said in the last episode, he wants to draft players that he wants to watch them play. And he ain't gonna watch the Patriots game, so he ain't gonna draft no Patriots players. If that's the way you want to play, then that's the way you want to play, and I don't blame him. I mean, I've actually got Drake London in the league, and I really don't want to let him go because I want to watch the Falcons and actually enjoy a player from my Falcons. I mean, I'm 30 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? Falcons are just some heartbreaking motherfuckers, man. But at least I got one player I can enjoy to watch right now.
Funny story about the Falcons this morning. A guy at work, he's a huge Falcons fan. He's in my other dynasty league. And him and Noah made a bet. I think Noah's going to win this $100 easy. He said the Falcons are going to finish 12-5 or better. And Noah said, nah, that ain't happening. The Falcons do have the easiest schedule in NFC. But, I think Noah's going to win that. I think Noah's going to win that bet, man.
I wonder what Vegas says. I wonder what the odds are on that thing.
Dude, they're probably at like 9. I'm thinking 9-8, 10-7. They're probably at like 9.5. If I was thinking, betting the lines on them.
I ain't betting on the Falcons to win 12 games. even if I like thought it was gonna happen, I was like, yeah, it's gonna happen. I still ain't putting money on that.
Dude, the
You never.
Chiefs barely. I don't even know what the Chiefs' record was last year, but they were probably like 12-5, and that's the
Yeah,
Chiefs.
yeah. Well, tonight we're doing wide receiver rankings, and listen, this is the truth about wide receiver rankings. I mean, me and Kraft, we're sitting here before the episode, and I'm still moving shit around. Like, I'm moving things around. I'll probably move some stuff around in the middle of the episode, and basically, just don't take us for what we're saying. Like, you never know, man. It change your rankings the way you want to change them. I mean, when you go into your rookie drafts, or not rookie drafts, your redraft leagues or whatever you redraft season coming up, rank them how you want to, and you know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there's look how many wide receivers there are. I mean, I just ranked about 45 of them, and every time I've looked at it, I've changed something every single time. I got arrows and marks all over my piece of paper. Crap.
Hey, that's the fun thing about it. Even before we did the podcast, though, I still made my own rankings because,
Yeah,
like we said on the previous episode, when you win your league or you draft the way you want to draft, screw the ADP sometimes.
yeah,
Go get the guy that you want, and you know, it's just fun to make your own rankings and draft based on that. That way you could say I was wrong or I was right at the end of the year, and it was you who drafted the team. So
yeah,
if you lose, you know, take it in
yeah.
the shins. If you win, you can really talk some mad shit then.
Agreed. So we're gonna get started, but 5-star review, and just thank y'all for listening to the podcast. So I'm gonna start it off from the top, and I'm gonna name out the first two. Because if you're in redraft, there's really a top three, and and I know not everybody agrees with that, but I still believe it. I think there's like a top three in redraft. You know, me and Kraft, we'll probably throw out like a round one rankings, overall rankings, or something at some point where we throw all the players and at least rank out our first couple rounds or something like that.
Mock
But
draft.
yeah, mock draft. We're gonna mock draft. We might have to get some other people on here and mock draft with us, Kraft, man. We'll have to get Big Dunk. Kill my source. Maybe get Noah Dick Blow in the building. Ain't heard from him in a while. Uh, Man must be busy, but to me, there's really a top three, and it's CD, Tyreek, and CMC, and you could take them in any order you want to, and I would take CMC first, no matter what. Um, but as far as wide receiver rankings go, you with me, Kraft man?
I'm with you. It's Tyreek
Uh,
and CD. You got CD first, and
yeah,
I got Tyreek second. But
I wouldn't be mad at you if you took Tyreek first. And personally, I do a lot of best ball, and I have not had to stare down this decision not one time. I don't even have CD or Tyreek, and I've picked from the two twice, and I've gotten CMC both times. So I'm a CD guy. I think Dallas is going to lead the league in pass attempts. That stack is probably as safe as any of them. CD's gonna be the guy. Now, listen, I know people are worried about CD not reporting to camp and stuff, and that could negatively affect him a little bit. I would still take if that's the case. If you really felt that way, gotta go Tyreek. Gotta go Tyreek. But I say CD and Tyreek, and that's kind of like a tier one for me. Explain yourself, Crap Man.
I mean, it's obviously Tyreek and CD for me. It's kind of like the tale of two halves. Tyreek was a little injured at the end of the season last year, but from week 1 to week 9, he was averaging 21 points a game. 21 points a game that's half PPR. That's not even full PPR.
Yeah.
But CD Lamb from week 10 to week 18 in the back half of the year was averaging 23 points a game. So these guys, that's just league winning material, and there's just no reason to pass on them in the first 3 picks. I love Jamar Chase this year. I think he's going to have a massive year, but Joe Burrow, it's still a little question mark. But 20 points a game from your wide receiver one,
Right.
give me that shit every time.
Yep, no doubt. I mean, there's really not too much to say about them two. I would go CD Tyreek. Craftman says he would go Tyreek CD. Would we agree? Would you take CMC over both of them though?
Yeah, as long as he practices like at least a full week before the season on that calf injury, as long as he's getting back in practice, Yeah, I just think it's an easy pick with CD, and I've actually tried to talk myself into Tyreek at number one, but my main problem has been when you think of all-purpose yards. Just say Tyreek goes for 1,800 again, and let's say 10 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey's going to have 1,800 all-purpose yards probably,
Yeah.
and more than 10 touchdowns. So that's the only issue I have with it is I think they could both match each other in total yards, but Christian McCaffrey, what do he have, 20 games straight with a touchdown?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
It's just that's the thing that puts me. It's just I know Christian McCaffrey's going to score every single week, if not multiple times.
Next, I kind of got a little tier 2 right here. Another tier 2 with 2 players. I go Amon-Ra, and then I go Jamar. And I've had some things to say about Jamar this year, but I just don't want to get it twisted now. I'm still high on Jamar. Jamar's still gonna go off. Um, I just think with Amon-Ra, the reason why, and listen, I may be a little biased. I have a league where I got CD and Amon-Ra, and I just look at Amon-Ra's game log, and I'm just like, I'm not even gonna risk it. I just played redraft just last year, and I was going like Garrett Wilson. I was in the back half of the first, so it was a little bit different. But I was drafting wide receivers that killed me. This year, I'm saying fuck that shit. I'm gonna go out there and get the most consistent guy in the league, and I'm gonna go get me Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I'm not gonna worry about nothing from wide receiver from here on out. And that's not to say Jamar, because you could go either way. Jamar, Amon-Ra. We're a little bit different on there. Do you go Jamar, Amon-Ra, Craftman, or you got Jamar, Amon-Ra a little lower?
No, I got Jamar. I got Jamar at 3 and Amon-Ra at 4, but you're just kind of
Yeah,
you're going whatever you want there. My only issue with Amon-Ra is not with Amon-Ra. Is the fact that I've seen a couple drafts where he does fall, and I just don't think that's. I don't think you should do that. I think that tier you got Tyreek and CD in the top tier, and it is clearly Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra to me. And you can
yeah,
pick whatever you want, but AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson are not in that tier for me in redraft. Dynasty, different discussion, but in
right.
redraft this year, it's Jamar Chase and Amon-Ra in that second tier, and then I cut it off.
And now I'm gonna go look at it. I'm kind of making up these tiers as I go. I kind of got a tier 3, kind of like AJ Brown and Garrett Wilson. And listen, AJ Brown last year, that first half of the year, was pretty much doing. I'm not sure what the numbers are off the top of my head, but
I get it
pre-
for you.
he. I'm gonna just say this: he was pretty much doing what CD Lamb did in the back half of the year. AJ Brown was doing in the front half of the year. The Eagles
Yeah,
just fell apart and they fell off. Crafty, you have a split for me or some kind of number for me? With AJ Brown. All I know
yeah.
is that. Go ahead.
From week 1 to week 9, AJ Brown was a wide receiver 2 on the season, averaging 18 points a game. And then, like we said, the back half was kind of rough. So going from let's say week 10 to week 18, I mean, that's when he really fell off. You can't even find him on here. I mean, he's wide receiver 30, wide receiver 20 something. I mean, he's on down. But that's the recency bias as fantasy goes. If he would have finished the year the way he started the year, people would be talking about him different. But you got to look at the year as a whole, and they got a new offensive coordinator with Kellen Moore in there. AJ Brown's been great for years,
Yeah.
years and years. Like he's always a top 10 guy, and he's going to continue being a top 10 guy. I don't see a floor with him, like a low floor with AJ Brown, where he could finish outside of a wide receiver, 15. And,
Yeah.
he's still got the potential to finish as a wide receiver, 1 to 3.
I got Garrett Wilson at 6. Garrett Wilson burned me last year, but I wouldn't let that affect me. I'm still willing to grab Garrett Wilson in that back half of the first. There's like a tier. I don't know. I can't think of it. It was like a 1 through 8 or whatever, and then you get down there in that little area with Garrett Wilson and Justin Jefferson, Jahmyr Gibbs up in that mix too, something like that. But Garrett Wilson, I mean, this is upside. I mean, Aaron Rodgers targeted. He's always targeting his wide receivers a lot. If you expect Aaron Rodgers to be healthy, you definitely expect Garrett Wilson to get a lot of targets. Talked about it on the AFC East episode. Dude has no other wide receivers around him that's going to be taking up targets except for Brees Hall. Might get some. He's going to get some targets. Other than that, Garrett Wilson to the moon. And I want to say something because when I was sitting here doing my rankings, we ain't said Justin Jefferson's name yet. I got him at 7. Um, Justin Jefferson has some bad news. I mean, his quarterback went down. I know had a rookie quarterback, but this guy's about to have Sam Darnold, and I know he's the man. I get it, man. Justin Jefferson's a bad man, and he is the man, and I agree. Well, I'm talking about redraft, and I'm talking about a whole year. He had some good games with Nick Mullins and all that, and I get it. But it says is he about to sustain that for a whole year? I say no way. No way in hell. And I don't know what quarterbacks we're gonna be seeing this year again. It might be a whole clusterfuck. It might not just be Sam Darnold. We still might see Nick Mullins or whoever's up in there. So my little tier 3-ish or whatever, I'm gonna say AJ Brown at 5, Garrett Wilson 6, Justin Jefferson 7.
Yep. And we're the exact same. But I do want to point out AJ Brown because I couldn't give y'all an exact number. From week 10 to week 18, AJ Brown was a wide receiver 42.
Oh,
No, 40,
yikes.
43. Players that outscored AJ Brown on a points per game average: Joshua Palmer, Deontay Johnson, Dante Wick, Jacoby Myers.
Gosh.
That was the guys at the end of last season that outscored AJ Brown. So, but it doesn't affect me at all.
No.
I mean, if you want to take that and run with it, I just wanted to give you all the correct information because I said it was like 20s, and that ain't correct. But as far as Justin Jefferson goes and Garrett Wilson, y'all heard me on the last episode with Garrett Wilson. I think quarterback play is just humongous. You got to look into that. And Aaron Rodgers is going to support a number one guy. And I think this is just one of them guys that could just totally break out. Whereas we were looking at it last year where at the end of the first round, and I know this off like personal experience because I passed on these guys. At the end of the first round last year, I took guys like Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley ahead of Amon-Ra and CeeDee Lamb. And these are the guys that the reason they're not at the top of the first round and they're like at the turn right there is because they haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
But people expect them to do, which I'm one of them people that expect them to do. So I think Garrett Wilson could have a year like CeeDee Lamb did last year. Maybe not up to that level, but he could have a year where he's finishing top 5 at wide receiver. And if you pick wide receivers in that range last year, you might have won your leagues if you had Amon-Ra and CeeDee Lamb instead of picking, Saquon and Josh Jacobs and whatever guys were going at the end of the first last year. So that's the reason they're at that level. But redraft is year to year, and I just expect this year to be massive for Garrett Wilson.
I got Puka at 8. Pretty much I'll name out the rest of my top 10. I got Puka at 8, Drake London 9, and Marv at 10. What's your 8, 9, 10, Crab?
8, 9, 10 is Puka at 8, Marv at 9, and then Devontae Adams at 10.
Holy cow. All right. Listen, Puka, obviously. Puka, I think, and really with some news, Puka was a little banged up. He might slide a little bit in your redraft leagues. ADP might drop and might be a little more attainable. I really wasn't liking the price, so I haven't been grabbing no Puka. But Puka's I think he'll have a great year. Now, I think Cooper Kupp being healthy, I think, I've seen some reports that are saying like Cooper Kupp. I think I seen somebody say Cooper Kupp was the guy type deal like that. But I mean, I think they're just gonna both be good. I think Puka might decline just a tad bit, Crab Man, just a tad. But I don't think it's nothing where I'm gonna be like, oh my god, Puka. Like I like Drake London, but I still put Puka ahead of Drake London. And it really wasn't that tough for me either. It just Puka's a little risky. Matthew Stafford, I think. Ain't Matthew Stafford already in the news for getting a little nicked up a little bit?
That's that's the fragility with Puka and Cooper Cup is if Stafford goes down, it ain't good. But I guess you could say that about all the receivers. I mean,
Right.
you could say that about CD and Tyreek. I mean, if Tua were to get hurt or Dak Prescott were to get hurt, I mean, you got to drop these guys tremendously. So you just got to
Yeah.
take it with what it's worth. I really think Puka, I got him at 8. But if you were to tell me that Cooper Cup outscores Puka this season, I don't think I'd be that surprised,
Nah, me neither. I
which is
mean, I think
crazy.
all them Rams are about to eat, I feel like. Marv, you got him at 9, I got him at 10. And listen, Crab, I'm high on Marv, obviously, and I'm high on Kyler. I just kind of am tempering my expectations because he's still a rookie. That's all I'm saying.
Still a
Because
rookie.
next year when we're doing this shit, Marv might be going up there with, I don't know, as high as any of these guys. I mean, the sky's the limit for Marvin Harrison. And to be drafting a rookie this high feels a little yucky, but it's like there's no denying this dude's about to get a lot of targets, and he's about to be pretty good, even though he's a rookie. Their offense is on the swing, on the come up. Kyler Murray healthy, Trey McBride. This offense is going to be better. They're going to be scoring more, and Marv is going to be at the forefront of that. So I'm high on Marv. I'm just tempering my expectations just because he's still a rookie. I mean, look how high we're drafting him. I mean, look how high we got him right now. I got him at 10. You got him at 9. That's high, but it could be higher. You know what I'm saying? We could just be being safe right now. This dude could be up there with Jamar and all them for all we know. So could be
I
lower
mean,
too, though.
he could be like when the fantasy community is catching on with Dynasty getting hot and heavy, and when Jamar Chase when he came into the league, he was getting drafted really late, like 4th, 5th round, and he finished as a wide receiver 4 his rookie season. And even Jalen Waddle is not the type of prospect that Marvin Harrison is. Jalen Waddle in his rookie year finished as a wide receiver 16 because he was the only guy on that team that was catching passes. And I think Marv is a better prospect than Jalen Waddle. I think he is the number one option on the offense. And I just have a hard time thinking that Marvin Harrison is not going to get damn near everything with him and Trey McBride there. It's like the perfect combination. You don't want to be necessarily the only guy, but Trey McBride is like the perfect piece to put beside you where it's not going to take away from you, but it's also going to, the defense is going to have to focus on somebody else besides you. So I mean, Marvin Harrison definitely going to finish number 9. I just hate that I hate that the fantasy community is caught on and rookie receivers are getting drafted that early, but it just is what it is. I think that he's going to finish around where we got him ranked.
Devontae Adams, this is a huge difference, Crab Man. You said you got him 10, and I just want to make sure that's right. You got him at
That's right.
10?
Got him at 10.
Crap, I got Devontae Adams at 22. This motherfucker's pretty much off my board. I mean, I ain't even touching this, man. And I'm sitting here, and the first time I did it, I sent y'all a picture of my rankings. You said where Devontae Adams is. I totally forgot about that motherfucker. I look at ADP and I slide them out and I try to slide people back in. Slid them out and didn't slide them back in. Totally forgot. I got him at 22 because I mean, all the names I'm sitting here, it's like, who do I want, Metcalf or Devontae Adams? I mean, I want DK Metcalf. Do I want DJ Moore, Devontae? I want DJ Moore. Do I want Tank Dell, Devontae? I want motherfucking Tank Dell. I mean, I want all these guys ahead of Devontae Adams. That's going to be a bottom 10 offense, and I just can't. But you know what? Here's the truth. I faded him last year, and he was still solid. I mean, he did have that one big game. I always point out the big games. I know he
He
had
was a
that
wide
real
receiver
big game.
10 last season
Yeah. So
with the same quarterback.
I could be dead wrong. Well, not Gardner Minshew, but then again, I think it'll be better with Gardner Minshew. So this was tough. I will be drafting no Devontae Adams, period, though.
I don't like his price. I will say that. I have to put him in my rankings because I would take him over the guys that I have ranked below him. But I haven't drafted any Devontae Adams because of where he's going. If he's in the second round, I'm drafting guys like Devon Achane, Isaiah Pacheco, Derrick Henry over Devontae Adams. That's just where I'm at. And the same goes for the receivers that I got around Devontae Adams, like Chris Olave, players like that. I'm taking a running back in that spot because I like him a lot better. But I think he's going to finish great, and I think he's just gotten he's a tired pick. Nobody wants to pick Devontae Adams because he's old. He's playing on that not that great of an offense.
Yeah.
It's just not exciting. Like he ain't gonna finish up there with the top guys. But he sure as hell ain't gonna finish down there at the bottom. Like he's at the worst you're getting. If you're asking me and not Matt, the worst you're getting out of Devontae Adams like wide receiver 18.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
no
I got
doubt
him
he
at
don't finish.
yeah. I mean, I got him at 22.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah. You're way too low on Devontae Adams, man. Way too low. There ain't
I just
even that's crazy.
there ain't nobody I want on the Raiders like that. But yeah, I
All right,
mean, I said what I say. I mean, with that said, I do think if Gardner Minshew rolls through and the way he was targeting Michael Pittman all last year, I think that could be good.
I
I
know
ain't really
you've done a
feeling
lot
that.
of best ball drafts. Are you letting ADP affect your decision? Like if Devontae Adams, just say for some reason he falls into the late third, fourth round, are you really taking guys like Nico Collins over Drake or over Devontae Adams?
Yeah, I mean, big time. I mean, think about crap. I know you like DK Metcalf. There's not a world where I see Devontae Adams finishing ahead of Metcalf this year. No way. Even with Geno Smith.
You playing on my heartstrings
It's
because
tough.
DK Metcalf is one of my guys this season.
I just feel him.
I got him at wide receiver 14.
Yeah.
And like you said, we just be moving people up. Chris
I
Olave
don't,
is going down.
yeah.
He's at wide receiver 13, and Devontae's at wide receiver 10. You know, I'm not going to draft Devontae Adams. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I just think that's probably where he's going to finish, but the upside is just not there. But I just can't see a world where you're going to miss on the pick of picking Devontae Adams. I think he's going to be great for your team. I think that from where he's going, he's probably going to finish around wide receiver 10 to wide receiver 15. And I can't really say that about all these other guys. I got them ranked around them. I could see some higher ceiling out of some guys, but I could definitely see a lower floor. So he's just right in the middle of. I just think he's going to be so consistent, so many targets, especially in a PPR league. It's going to be ridiculous.
All right, Kraft. Drake London. Got to touch on him. I got him at 9. Where do you got Drake London, Kraft?
17.
All right, see, that's one where I think you crazy. Well, I like how we got a lot of differences in wide receivers. It ain't like running backs. It felt like we was step by step on that thing, at least close by. Listen, Drake London. I even went into the summer. I mean, before me and you, we don't do best ball as early as a lot of motherfuckers. Some of them jokers be on that shit real quick.
After
I
the
was
Super
thinking,
Bowl.
yeah, I ain't doing that. I don't even have the desire to do that, and I love this shit. But listen, Drake London. I was thinking in my head, I was like, Kirk Cousins is there. I think I'm gonna love him for Dynasty, but I bet at redraft, I'm just not gonna like him as much because I feel like his price will probably be too high. And I'm just sitting here and I've been doing them, and I'm just like, that his price ain't even that high to me. I mean, Garrett Wilson's going higher than Drake London. The
He
same things
should,
that you could say about Garrett Wilson. You can say the same thing about Drake London. The exact
except
same
for
thing.
except for the fact that the Falcons got. Well, I mean, the Jets got Brees. Falcons got Bijan, but got Kyle Pitts there. You got my
Who
guy.
is he?
You
Who is
got my
he?
guy, Darnell
Who?
motherfucking Mooney, up in that place.
That
Drake London.
motherfucker ain't.
Drake London's just. I'll just put it this way: Drake London's not the target earner that Garrett Wilson is. Garrett Wilson set a record for how many targets that he's received in his first 3 years.
But hear
Drake
me
London ain't
out.
doing that.
But hear me out. The reason why he's getting all the targets is because their team is so shitty and they only have one guy to throw it to, Garrett Wilson. This guy, at least Arthur Smith. I know the quarterback situation was shitty, but Arthur Smith's running the football. Them targets ain't flying out there to Drake London and all them guys. Like that's pretty much why I feel like we don't see them the same way. Because Garrett Wilson was getting all these targets last year.
You
Boy, they
gotta.
had no choice. I mean, Drake London, at least they had a choice. At least they just running the ball. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's way different. Kyle Pitts, am I really worried about that? Kyle Pitts? I don't know. Kyle Pitts got to start doing something because I mean, I like Kyle Pitts, and I'll take a shot on him at some points. But am I going to let Kyle Pitts affect what I think about Drake London? Man, I just can't do that. Cannot.
I mean, I'm willing to be wrong about this, but what do you think the Falcons are going to rely on? You going to rely on Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles injury, learning a new offense? Are you going to rely on one of the best running backs that has came out in the past 10 years and run the offense through him? And you got a top 10 offensive line there too, and a very bad defense. Like Falcons defense. I mean, they got Judon. They just got Justin Simmons. They might be a little better, but I just feel like
Maybe.
Kirk Cousins with the Vikings is not even close to what Kirk Cousins is going to be with the Falcons, and you can't just copy and paste that shit over from what
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins did with the Vikings.
and I agree with that. But I'm saying I mean, Garrett Wilson, we put him up high. He's got Aaron Rodgers, who just came off an Achilles. But last time we saw
No
Aaron Rodgers,
competition.
he was not good. Aaron Rodgers was not good the last time we saw that man play football. Kirk Cousins was up at quarterback 1 at some point last time I was saying. I'm not saying he's gonna be that, but I'm saying even if he declines a little bit, and you're talking to another guy, if Kirk Cousins goes down, I say I have no fear in Penix being in there. I'm the only man in this country that's gonna sit here and say that. I have no fear if Penix is in there. I still take Drake London. My thing is like I just think Drake London. I mean, who's he going around? He's going around Marv. I mean, yeah, I even got a Marv around there, but I mean, he's going around there with like Debo and Nico. Like, I mean, his upside is way higher than those guys.
His upside is pretty high, and this is one of them guys that I'll concede to you a little bit instead of arguing with you until because it's not one of them guys that I think is a bad player. It's just one of them guys that I'm not drafting because I think he's going too high, but I can see the upside with it. And if you wanna take Drake London, it it could definitely pan out for you. Like he could be a top, I don't know, top 10 guy.
I
But
think go ahead, Crowd. I'm sorry.
I think when you think of it reasonably, and I've been down on the Falcons a little bit lower than anybody else either, where I just don't think the offense is just going to pick up from week one and just be great to start. And I think it's going to take a while. And Bijan's going to be the main piece in that offense. I think they're going to run the offense through him. And I don't know. If you want to, this is like I said, Drake London. Pick your guys that you want when you're playing fantasy. Drake London's just not one of them guys that I want.
I would say the moral of the story for me is I'm okay with the price. I thought I wasn't gonna like the price. I think at the end of if he goes off, I say the same thing about Garrett Wilson. I literally will put them in a bucket and put them in the same tier or whatever. I'll put them right. I think if they go off and we're doing a dynasty ranking next year, either one of them could be up there as high as 5. That's how
I
I
agree
feel.
with his dynasty ranking at like wide receiver 10 or 11,
Yeah.
wherever he's at in dynasty rankings where I got him. But, it's just in redraft, I'd rather have other players. And I'm looking at the median outcome of Drake London, not the ceiling outcome, because obviously his ceiling's pretty high. But I got him ranked where I think he'll finish. Top end
All
wide receiver 2.
right, Kraft. Name me the next 2 guys you got on your list.
So after Devontae at 10, I got Mike Evans at 11 and Jalen Waddle at 12. And there ain't much to say about Mike Evans. It's a belief system. We've talked about this on previous podcasts where this tier of receivers from, you could say, Drake London all the way down to Devontae Smith is just a massive tier. So it's pretty much pick your players, but this is where my rankings are. Mike Evans was absolutely outstanding last year, and we had to talk about Rachaad White, how the offense hasn't changed. The offensive coordinator has changed, but Mike Evans does it every single season with new offensive coordinators, with a new quarterback. He just always produces. and I think he's just going to keep producing to a high end wide receiver, and he's a top receiver in that tier that I like to take. And after Devontae, that's that massive tier that I was talking about. Where I mean, I got Mike Evans at wide receiver 11. I got Devontae Smith at wide receiver 21, and that's a whole tier. That's a whole tier of receivers right there. And I would like to have any of them, truthfully.
Yeah. Yeah, I already look at Mike Evans. I've done moved him up 2 spots. I know I'm a little too low on Mike Evans. Yeah, you're right. Mike Evans went the hell off last year, and nothing's really gonna change. It's the same thing I was saying about Rashad White. Now I got him now. I got him up around that 18, 19 range, and I would just. It's just because I got so many names up here where it's like, golly, because I really would want Devontae Smith over Mike Evans this year. But another thing is like I think maybe comes down just a tad bit, but I don't know, man. That's the toughest one. This one might be the toughest one for me of the night, Craft, man. Mike Evans, man. I don't even know what the hell to do with that man. Because you're right, he's gonna go. He's gonna have a good year this year. He was like the
I'm
wide
picking
receiver
him.
6 last year.
I'm picking him at like the 302 every time. I mean, I got the 102 in Yahoo. I'm starting off with like, well, Levi automatically picks CD at 1, so I get like McCaffrey, and then I come back and I get like Achan or Derrick Henry, and then I get Mike Evans, and that's just the
Yeah.
way it goes.
Waddle, I got him at 11. You got him at 12. Is that right? Listen,
Super high
Waddle's
on Waddle, man. Both of us.
yeah, all in. I'm pretty much all in on Waddle, and I've pretty much been all in on my best ball. We did our little series of best balls, and every time in the third, I was getting them. I mean, I've been kind of diversifying a little bit, not with Waddle. I mean, if Waddle's there, I'm grabbing him. I'm pretty much all in on him. I just think, he kind of had. I think a little people are a little bit lower, um, just because last year, sometimes things just do not click. It just did not click all the way with Waddle. I mean, he was a little banged up during the games and stuff. We're coming in and out a little while every now and then, but he's still good. And then I think he bounces back way better this year. And I got him at 11, and I'm willing to smack on it all day, Craft Man.
He's just a good ass player, man. That's what it comes down to. He's just a good ass football player. And the problem that people have was he was in and out of the blue tent last year. You know, he had his own name on the blue tent. He They pretty much had one set aside for him, and he just he was in and out of games. But this is a guy that finishes wide receiver 8 or wide receiver 7 one year. And Puka Nakua, he was awesome last year, right? He broke the rookie reception record. And I'm gonna steal it from Mike Wright from the Fantasy Footballers. You know whose record he beat? Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle's reception record. This guy is absolutely outstanding. I mean, you got Tyreek on one side, you got Jalen Waddle on the other. These two can coexist. Tua led the league in passing yards last year, so there's enough to go around. If Tua repeats what he did with almost 5,000 passing yards again this year, their offense is very condensed. I mean, it's Tyreek Hill, it's Jalen Waddle. You don't get much out of the wide receiver 3. You don't get much out of the tight end position, and the running backs go off. So I could just see. I think Jalen Waddle, his wide receiver 7 year, was much more compatible than what he did last year. I think that's
Yeah.
more of what Jalen Waddle is. So, I mean, we got him as a wide receiver 1, both of us.
Yep. I mean, I'm not. I could, that's all I can really say. I pretty much said everything. I could pretty much go on the Waddle all day. I'm just high on him this year. There was a slight little buy low window in him on Dynasty. Cooper Cup. I know we kind of talked about him a little bit, but I got him at 12, Craft Man. And I'm just gonna be real. This is when I did my draft. When I did my rankings, I was saying I would take Cup here. I don't
Yeah.
know if I see Cooper Cup and Puka both finishing in the top 12. It happens though. Some of these duos do it. Gonna be tough. I would take Cooper Cup over a lot because I think his upside's higher than a lot of these guys at that price. He's been going in like the third round in best ball, and there's have been times where I've gone running back, wide receiver 1 is Cooper Cup. And I don't really feel too. bad about it. I mean, he went off last year. This year he's coming in there so far so good, fully healthy. He was banged up from the jump last year. So I'm good with Cooper Cup at 12. What do you say, Kraft?
Yeah, I got him at 16, and I mean, we just talked about with Puka, if Cooper Cup outscores him, it wouldn't be that surprising. And it's just the fact that the news from the Rams and Sean McVay has pretty much said that the offense is still going to run through Cooper Cup. Like
Yeah.
they pretty much said that. They didn't say Puka Nakua, they said Cooper Cup. We as a fantasy community, we think it's still Puka, but I mean Cooper Cup still, when he's on the field, he's great, and he's going to continue to be great. And him and Puka were neck and neck at the back of the season last year, where when Cooper Cup was actually healthy. But that's a problem between Puka and Cooper Cup. Is Cooper Cup's missed a lot of games, so
Yeah.
and he's older.
Throw me another. Toss me a name out there, Kraft man.
Well, I got DK Metcalf actually higher. I got DK Metcalf after Jalen Waddle at wide receiver 13. And that sounds super high when it's like, oh man, DK Metcalf, Geno Smith throwing the ball, this and that. DK Metcalf been wide receiver 18, 18, 11, and 6 in the past
Yeah.
4 years. This is one of the safest players you could possibly get. And then you get Ryan Grubb coming in from Washington.
Yeah.
And yeah, you had Roma Dunze and Jalen Polk and all them guys just going off. Geno 2 years ago before what was that guy's name? Their offensive coordinator last year. I'm forgetting his name. But he went over to the Bears
Yeah.
and they asked JSN about the offense coordinator, and he was like, "Good luck, Bears. This is what you got." And I just really think that Ryan Grubb is going to get these receivers incredibly involved, and I think they're going to be a little bit more pass heavy than they have been. And with Geno Smith playing as bad as he did last year, for DK Metcalf to finish at wide receiver 18,
Yeah.
I got him ranked at 14 this year.
Yep, crap, man. Before this episode, I had him at 14, and I moved him up to 13. I'm high on DK Metcalf this year. When we was bringing up them other names, when I was saying you want this or DK, it's because I like DK too. I'm with you. Everything you just said, I literally echo everything you just said. Even with Geno, heck, if Sam Howell comes in, DK might still be doing this thing. We'll have to see though. I don't know about that, but we'll just have to see. But I'm just saying. Super high on DK. I'm willing to take him 13, and I haven't really been drafted too much DK, but I would.
Where do you have
And
him at?
I got him at 13.
Me and you both.
Yep, and I got him. It feels like I kind of keep him in that little same area, like 13 to 18, that type of area right there every year. No reason to be down on DK Metcalf. Kraft, Nico Collins. Now I've been saying his ceiling's kind of capped, but I still take him kind of high when I look at it. I got him at 14. Might take him at 15. Where you got Nico Collins, Kraft?
He's at 19, but
So a little bit lower. But you're a Tank Dell guy. You got Tank Dell higher, or
I don't have Tank Dell higher because I've said that I do think Nico has a better season this year, and but I do have Tank Dell higher in Dynasty when I think that when Stephon Diggs leaves, probably after this year or maybe the year after, Tank Dell's younger, and Tank Dell is a great receiver. So, and I think that Stephon Diggs kind of eats into more of Tank Nico Collins. He's at that age of his career where Nico's going to play on the outside a lot. Diggs is going to be in the slot a decent bit, which I think kind of hurts Tank Dell a little bit for this season. But Nico, I mean, I love Nico. He's got a massive upside every single week, and I got him ranked ahead of Michael Pittman and Devontae Smith, but he's kind of at the bottom of that tier as far as receivers in that tier go. Got Debo ahead of him, and we mentioned Drake London. Brandon Ayuk's kind of up in the air right now. Got to figure out what's going on with him.
yeah. I'm with you on Nico. I've said it a lot of times. I like Nico, and I was saying I like him the best. We took him at a startup, me and you together. But I said that expecting. I've been saying his ceiling's kind of capped this year. I still feel that way. And you've been kind of warming me up on some Tank Dell. I've been kind of buying in on Tank Dell. So whenever I start, we might as well just go ahead and throw his name out there too, Craft Man. I got Tank Dell at 18. And I know you were saying something about me and N were talking about Stephon Diggs. And I was pretty much saying I'd rather have Stephon Diggs over Devontae Adams. And even now, after just thinking about how I feel about Tank Dell and Nico, and I've been dropping Stephon Diggs like a motherfucking, I don't even know, been dropping him I don't even know. I'm dropping him though. And I got him way down there, and I don't even know if I like Diggs as much anymore because I'm kind of buying into Tank Dell. I mean, I was listening to one podcast. They were saying after this year, it was a hot take, though. It was a hot take. It wasn't like an absolute. He was saying after this year, we're going to view Tank Dell as a top 5 dynasty wide receiver. And I was like, what? There's people on him that's that high on him? I'm just going to be real. I think Tank Dell's going to be on the outside a lot. And I think people are going to be trying to zone in on Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins, and they're not going to know how to guard Tank Dell. I got him at 18. Feels kind of low, but I still got Nico up there higher than him. I do like Nico. Now I got Tank Dell at 18. Where you got Tank Dell, Kraft?
I got Tank Dell all the way down at 26 because I mentioned in the episode before when we talked about the NFC North, there's no reason to put these 3 Houston receivers all way up high and put the Packers receivers all down in the 30s and 50s. It's just going to be, they're going to have their games. Is pretty much the way I look at it. And CJ Stroud's going to have a good sophomore season. I don't think he's going to fall off. He's not going to have a sophomore slump. But to rank 3 receivers in the top 36 is very tough to do. And you got to have, you just got to have extreme talent. Like we have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek up high.
Yeah.
That's probably the only team that we have 2 receivers on the same offense.
I got Puka and Cup up high like that.
Cup up high. But they don't have Stephon Diggs there. When you're talking about Matthew Stafford, they got Puka, they got Cooper Kupp, and then who else? Well, I mean, we're not talking about anybody else today. So when it comes to this, I do think Stephon Diggs is going to eat in a little bit where it caps everybody's upside. Yeah. And that's where I'm at. I think Tank Dell is a great player. I got him as wide receiver 11 in my dynasty rankings because after this year, when Diggs goes, I think Tank Dell's the best receiver. I really think Tank Dell's the best receiver on the Texans. But just for redraft purposes, I think that Stephon Diggs is going to eat into more Tank Dell snaps and Tank Dell targets than he will Nico Collins this season.
Crap, I got Devontae Smith at 15. Where do you have Devontae Smith?
I got him at 21.
And look, I feel like I'm pretty high on Devontae Smith this year just because of Kellen Moore coming into town. And I just truly believe that the Eagles bounce back. All these Eagles really, well, I'm going to say this from a dynasty perspective. All those Eagles have buy low windows, in my opinion, even A.J. Brown. But I just think this year, I really think Jalen Hurts, I think they're going to throw the ball a little bit more. And I really don't hate on Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is pretty good. And what are they talking about? The guy in the slot? The slot guy in Kellen Moore's offenses ball out. And I'm not saying Devontae Smith is going to be that because I think AJ Brown can do that shit too. But they're going to eat. And they're going to throw the ball a little bit more now. I know they got Saquon and things like that. They're just stacked all around. But I'm just high on Devontae Smith, and I really don't have a problem drafting Devontae Smith over guys like Olave. I'll take Devontae Smith over DJ Moore. I'm debating Tank Dell, but Ayuk. I'm definitely taking Devontae Smith over those kind of guys.
It's close for me too because it's just a big tier, and Devontae Smith unfortunately ended up at the bottom of that tier because AJ Brown is just so he's just great, and I don't think Jalen Hurts is that great of a passer as far as passing yards go throughout the season. Yeah. So I just have Devontae Smith a little lower. I mean, if he was playing with uh, a quarterback that I thought could throw for 5,000 yards or 4,500 or 4,800 yards, he would probably be higher. But you know, you got Dallas Goedert there who's going to get some work. You got Saquon there who's going to catch some more passes this year than what they've had. They're going to run the ball a little bit more. It's going to be a different offense with Kellen Moore, but we haven't really seen Jalen Hurts in an offense with an
Yeah.
offensive coordinator like Kellen Moore. It could be great, but Kellen Moore is really going to push Jalen Hurts to be a passer, which I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not 100% sure that Jalen Hurts will succeed in that kind of offense. I actually kind of like Jalen Hurts better in like the Shane Steichen system where it was, you
Yeah.
know, you're running a bunch of read options and plays like and RPOs and stuff like that. I'm not sure if Jalen Hurts, and this is not an anti Jalen Hurts take. I'm not sure that Jalen Hurts is the type of quarterback that Kellen Moore has had in the past with Justin Herbert and Dak Prescott, where he could sit in the pocket and just tear defenses apart, uh, passing the ball. So,
Yeah.
but I do agree, Kellen Moore in that slot receiver, that's not something that Matt just said. Like Kellen Moore in the slot and with his offenses and the slot receiver, they eat in his offenses. As long as Jalen Hurts can spread the ball around.
Yep. Hey, I'm just willing. I think when I'm going to my redraft and I go down there to draft with you guys, I think I'm gonna be willing to take some Eagle players and just see how it goes. Craftman Olave. Now I got him at 16. Where do you have Olave? I think this is just what Olave is. I don't think there's not a lot of upside in my opinion. I think this is just going to be. This is just what he's going to be for his career. I think he's just going to be kind of like a wide receiver too, and I don't really see him, uh, balling out, getting that top upside like Waddle and all these guys. Where you're like, man, I want these guys because they might just blow the roof off your team. I don't see that with Olave. Now, I don't hate Olave. I still like Olave, and I'll take him in certain situations. I'm not taking him in best ball because I want the upside. Olave's
Yeah.
just steady, solid. Got him at 16. You could talk me into it. I mean, hell, I'm sitting here looking at it now. I might would take DJ Moore over him, and I might would take Tank Dell over him. I just feel like I'm gonna keep on moving Tank Dell, keep on dropping. That's the thing. We've been looking at these things. I keep on moving DK up spot by spot. I'm moving Olave down spot by spot as we go.
Yeah. I mean, DJ Moore's not even in the conversation for me. I got him as wide receiver 24, and I got Chris Olave at wide receiver 14. I think Chris Olave, even though they're like 10 years apart in age or 8 years apart in age, Chris Olave is the Devontae Adams pick. That's all it is. You can say you're picking the younger guy with upside and all this stuff. Chris Olave and Devontae Adams are going to have similar stat lines this season. They're going to have about the same amount of receptions, the same amount of yards per catch. They're not going to be, down the field, they're not going to be like 15 yards a catch. They're going to be sitting around 10 to 12 yards per reception, and they're just going to be eating up, just eating up targets. And that's the way I look at Chris Olave is wherever you got Devontae Adams at, I think that's about where Chris Olave is going to finish.
All right, Craftman. Look, we gonna give them everybody all our rankings and stuff like that. But I want you to talk about who you want to talk about the most. Give me your wide receivers that are maybe you had to think about the hardest, or maybe you didn't have to think about them hard at all, or a name that I haven't even named yet, and I skipped them over in your rankings.
Well, we've talked about a decent amount of people. We hadn't brought up Michael Pittman at all yet. I
Yeah,
think he's going to be super solid, but not incredible. A guy
I
I'd
got
like
him
to
at.
bring up,
Go ahead.
Amari Cooper. Um, I got him at wide receiver 22, and I think he is the very, very top of that tier after we get done with, Debo, Drake London, Cooper Kupp, Brandon Ayuk, these guys. I think Amari Cooper is actually a good steal in your drafts. He was not bad with Deshaun Watson, and I think that Amari Cooper is one of the better route runners in the league. And for the first time in a long time, I think I'm going to have Amari Cooper on a lot of my teams because the number 2 option in that offense is Jerry Jeudy, who I absolutely hate.
Yeah, trash.
And Amari Cooper was the wide receiver 10 last year. He's just one of them guys that just keeps getting overlooked. And I know on this podcast, y'all make fun of me a lot for saying Amari Cooper shouldn't be rostered. That was 2 years ago now. We've been doing it for 3 years. He was like the wide receiver 28 or whatever he was that year.
Yeah.
But things have changed, and I think he's a steal in the draft. He's just a boring pick. Like you click the draft button and it's just like, I got fucking Amari Cooper. But he's gonna finish it. He's definitely gonna finish as wide receiver 2. And he could finish as wide receiver 10 just like he did last year.
Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with you at all. Oh, Ian Potty Pooper, if he's listening to this one, kicking the fucking doorstop, man, just kicking that shit. I know he don't like him some Amari Cooper. Yeah, look, a guy that I wanted to, I wanted to say something about is, JSN. He was somebody that I really did not know what the hell I was gonna do ranking him. Right now, I got him at 28. And I'm sitting here saying, I think when I go to do my redraft, I think JSN. I mean, I'm sitting here saying I like Metcalf and all that. If I like Metcalf and I like the offensive coordinator that they're bringing in, I think you have to be willing to say you like JSN. JSN is way low. I mean, even right now, I got him in the 20s. I got him outside of wide receiver 2. I mean, JSN's got a lot of upside. He's somebody that, like I said, I feel like I'm probably willing to reach an ADP to go get JSN because here's guys that I got ahead of him, man. I got like George Pickens ahead of him. I've been liking George Pickens too. I've been saying I feel real comfortable with George Pickens as my wide receiver too. But JSN has way more upside. I mean, I even got guys like, I know you ain't gonna like this, but I got like T Higgins up there, kinda.
I got him right behind Amari Cooper at like wide receiver 23.
Oh yeah, so, heck, you got him higher than I do, Kraft man.
I think T. Higgins gonna have a good year.
Yep, I'm with you on that. So what do you say about what you think about old JSN? What I gotta say about him? Because here's what I'm saying: this dude was going super high in your rookie drafts last year, and then his stock has kind of fallen a little low. I don't know if his stock deserves to go that low. You know what I'm saying? Bringing in an offensive coordinator from Washington, I feel like all them guys are going to be pretty good. Kenneth Walker too. Heck, who knows? Maybe even Tyler Lockett will be solid too. I'm not really worried about Tyler Lockett like that this year. I feel like JSN's gonna take that step up and just ball out on their ass. You know what I mean, Crab Man?
Man, I go back, and you're probably gonna like this take on JSN. We pretty much said last year that don't expect much from JSN this year.
Yep.
And you just have to go back and remember what you said. And I think he's dropped way too far in dynasty rankings. I think he is probably, it depends on what owner has him. I mean, Zamil got him right now, so it's kind of tough, but in our league. But I think JSN is probably the best buy low receiver in all of dynasty.
Yeah.
I think that he, because what we said last year, we didn't expect him to have a great year. We liked him more than Jordan Addison, or I mean I did. I don't know. I know you were really high, but we both said at the start of last year that JSN is probably not going to have the best rookie year because Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf are there, and all this was happening. But I really think JSN is going to blow up. He's probably going to finish. I mean, he has the potential to finish really high if he's the guy that they drafted a couple years ago. And like I pointed out about DK Metcalf, is the offensive coordinator left. They got a new guy in there that's going to use JSN in a different way. They were throwing JSN, behind the line of scrimmage every single time. It was hard to watch. And when you look at when you're doing your redraft settings, he's going around Christian Watson, guys like Jamison Williams, and I'm thinking to myself, like, all he has to do is just take over Tyler Lockett. That's it. And Tyler Lockett has been a wide receiver 2 in fantasy football for the longest time, back in wide receiver 1 on some occasions. And I think that this is the year where JSN is just like, hey, they did pay Tyler Lockett, but Tyler Lockett's going to be the wide receiver 3. I'm 100% sure on that. And if JSN really shows out and they use him the way that Ryan Grubb used Jalen Polk in Washington, JSN is going to be a humongous value. This is one of the guys that I'll take almost every single draft that I'm willing to take him in, because on the field, when you watched him last year, I thought he was a good ass player. They just used him stupid. I mean, it was just terrible the way they used him.
Crap, man. Rashi Rice. He's not suspended this year. How high do you put him?
Oh, that man is moving up. Rashi Rice going ahead of he's going to be right there with like Michael Pittman to me.
How high is that for you, Kraft?
He'll probably be like wide receiver 21, 22-ish, right around Amari Cooper and T. Higgins, I think. I think that's where I feel most comfortable slotting him in, probably between Amari Cooper and T. Higgins, I would say.
It's funny. You're right. Right, we in agreement. I got him right there in that little range. Pittman, Higgins, Amari Cooper. I got him right up in there. I like me some Rashi Rice still. I've been saying I don't really know if he gets suspended, and if he does, you know, you'll hate that you picked him for a little while. But if he doesn't, I mean, his price is so low right now. I mean, what his ADP will be way down there right now, depending on when you do your draft. So he might be one of the best values in redraft. At least close to it, because I'm a believer in Rashi Rice. I know, our guy Christopher would come on here and say it's Xavier Worthy's turn. But yeah, I'm with you. I got Rashi Rice in that same range, expecting him not to get suspended.
I mean, if he doesn't get suspended, you might as well just take Rashi Rice there. But there's that lingering. I mean, it could even come at the end of the year. But I think I'd just go ahead and take my chances. And in best ball, I was like, I got Rashi Rice a couple times. I was like, man, damn! Like I knew I needed to do it because you got to take the chance that he don't get suspended. But now, when it gets closer and closer to the season, I'm sitting here looking at it like, hell yeah, I got Rashi Rice for a deal. I got him for a steal in them best ball drafts.
Yep. I'm with crap, man. I want to ask you about Malik Neighbors. How you feel about Malik Neighbors? I know a lot of people love Malik Neighbors, and I think he's great. I think he could be really good. But I'm gonna be honest, redraft. I was saying a little bit, but this and that about Marv. But Malik Neighbors, I don't know. I'm just not really sure I trust. I mean, I'm not sure I trust Daniel Jones like that. You know what I'm saying? I think Malik Neighbors can have some good games, but Daniel Jones was, when he had that QB6 year, he was running the ball a lot. He had like 700 rushing yards or something like that. It wasn't because he was, you know, dishing and diming it out, Danny diming it out. I mean, I know Isaiah Hodgins had some good games, but I don't know how I feel about Malik Neighbors, but I'm willing to accept that his upside is pretty fucking high. No real competition in the wide receiver room. If Daniel Jones really does step up and do his thing and is competent with the Giants and Brian Daboll, then Malik Neighbors is, to me, probably a steal.
I know it's been a long time since we said it, and Marvin Harrison's been kind of the talk of the town. But if we go all the way back to our rookie stuff, I think Malik Neighbors is as good or better than Marvin Harrison. I'll go ahead and put that out there now. He went to the Giants. It's not that great. Daniel Jones don't support receivers, but what receivers has Daniel Jones had? He hasn't had anybody. And if you're going to give Malik Neighbors, 25% of the target share over there, which I think he's going to get, and he's already had glowing reviews from coaches that aren't even on the Giants. I mean, Dan Campbell said he's a mixture of Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase with the attitude of Odell Beckham. And I got Malik Neighbors at 25, and I've been rising up. Like, he was one of them guys that I didn't want. I don't think I have any best ball shares of him, which
me neither.
I think I'm going to end up regretting. And I think that Malik Neighbors is going to have enough volume to volume his way. Like you said, he has tremendous upside. I disagree with that this year, but I think he has a good floor. I think he's gonna finish as a wide receiver too. And you do
Yeah.
have that rookie unknown of like, is this guy the next Justin Jefferson in the league? Because I think his talent could be there. I mean, I really like Malik Neighbors. I think he's great with the ball in his hands after the catch, and he's just an extreme athlete. So, I got him at 25, right behind DJ Moore, before Tank Dell and George Pickens. So I'm not out
I
on Malik
gotta
Neighbors.
Yeah, I got him at 19 right now, Kraft.
Damn,
19.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. It's hard ranking them that low, but
Yeah.
I mean, Marvin Harrison is the highest rookie receiver ever drafted in redraft. Number 2 is Malik Neighbors of all time.
Yep.
So people are catching on. They're getting high on the rookie receivers, and it's just not a bad bet to make, really. The way things have kind of panned out in the last 5 years.
Kraft, we're going to wrap this up here in a sec, but I want you to give me any kind of sleeper or a hot take or something. I know we'll probably do a hot take episode, but is there a hot take with the wide receivers, or is there a sleeper, or is there just something you want to toss out there for us?
There's not a way that Lad McConkey doesn't finish as a wide receiver too, man. I got him at wide receiver 28, and I just think to myself, like, my favorite pick last season was Keenan Allen. He was my favorite pick in redraft all the way through. He was going in like the back of the third, top of the fourth. Lad McConkey is not Keenan Allen. I'm not saying that. But Lad McConkey is going in like the 7th round about. And if you give me just 3/4 of the production of Keenan Allen, there's no way that he can screw your team unless he gets hurt. I just think he's one of the safest picks that you could possibly pick. I got him above Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is one of the guys that me and you were just like completely out on. And
Right.
it's crazy because in the rookie shit we did last year, we love Zay Flowers. I know I did.
Yeah. I thought he was very solid. I thought he was good. I just think Lamar can't support wide receivers like that.
Same.
So I don't really want to say. I got a hot take for you right here, Kraft man. You might like it. Romeo Dobbs, top 20 season, and solidifies himself as the number 1 guy. And I stay true to my word. I've been saying it. I've been saying it from the jump. He's going to be the most consistent wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. I think Jaden Reed could have some higher games. But Romeo Dobbs, top 20.
Top 20 guy.
I love it.
I can see it. Romeo Dobbs is a stud, man. Let's go.
My guy, let's go. If there's a my guy, there's my guy right there.
Romeo Dobbs. I'm
shoot.
trying to think. I mean, I'm looking around. I'm trying to think of some breakouts. I mean, I'm going to have some more time, and we're going to do our breakouts and busts episode at some point, which that's one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
But as far as that goes, man, I think we good to go. There's a couple guys we didn't mention later in the list. I mean, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Christian Kirk. We both love Christian Kirk.
I love Christian Kirk. I am not high on Terry McLaurin, and I'm not really that high on Godwin. I thought I could talk myself into Godwin a little bit. I just can't do it.
Yeah. And then Bears guys, we talked about it last episode. You can't put 3 Bears guys in your top 36.
I really truly think for this season, DJ Moore kind of separates himself a little bit this year.
I could see it. I mean, DJ Moore was a top 10 guy last year, and Justin Fields barely threw for 3,000 yards, if he even did throw for 3,000 yards. So Caleb Williams is going to exceed that. It's just how much you think is going to go around, because DJ Moore was kind of it last year. It was DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney.
Yeah. Well, shoot, crap, man. That was our wide receiver rankings episode, and I ain't gonna lie. If you're out there listening to us, wide receiver, they're hard to rank. So, if you want to rank your wide receivers, rank them, but put them into tiers, man. Put them into tiers so it'll help you figure out who you like and how much you like them. You know what I mean? And it'll help you draft when you do it in your draft. It'll help you when it comes time.
Yeah.
I stand on that. But Kraft,
And
man, go ahead.
I was just saying, in redraft, the third and fourth round is the sweet spot for receivers. That's the guys where you
I
know
agree.
I got Olave at 14, and then I got Devontae Smith at 21, and I can't really decide between them guys.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 10 receivers in that range where it's just like you just call your shot on it. So I pretty much said, third and fourth round is receiver round in redraft. I mean, you can
Yeah.
disagree with that, but it's just a super sweet spot for receivers this year.
Yep. Man, I'm with you. I mean, everybody, thanks for listening to the episode. We pretty much, as far as rankings go, me and Kraft just knocked out the hard stuff. We'll dish out our quarterbacks and tight ends. Might put them in one episode. Might do two different ones. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, really, thanks for listening to the podcast. And if you want to see a straight up, I will have every one of mine and Craft Man's rankings. If you want to see that straight up, that you can follow me on Twitter at @CrewMattHamm, and I will have it piece by piece by piece, and let Twitter come in there and just destroy us and talk that shit. They did that kind of with the Dynasty rankings. They wasn't liking some of ours. But yeah, Craft Man, anything you want to say to the folks out there, to our good people?
I really appreciate everybody for listening to us, and we did the best we can with everything we got, and our rankings, they're just gonna be like everybody else's. You got to choose which guys you want. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at my rankings from last year, and shit's just crazy. I got CD at 8, Amon-Ra at 9. There's a couple of guys. Stephon Diggs at 5. That shit didn't happen.
No.
Stephon Diggs at 5. I had Calvin Ridley at 21. We were way down there on Calvin Ridley. I think he finished at 17. But
yeah,
looking at the rankings last year, wide receivers, I actually think, looking at my shit right now, I think I did pretty good with receiver rankings last year. We can talk about running backs later though, because I had Austin Eckler at 2, and that motherfucker did not finish at 2.
Oh man. Yeah, dude. There will definitely be. That's the thing. There's going to definitely be some surprises in there. And there's going to definitely be some surprises that come out of your top 12. That's just how it rolls.
Hey Matt, you want to hear these rankings right quick from last year? I just want to
toss them out, Crap Man.
Last year, Justin Jefferson 1. All right, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill at 4, Diggs at 5, AJ Brown at 6. I think we were right there. Garrett Wilson at 7. Gross.
Yep.
CD, Amon-Ra. Devontae Adams at 10. He finished it at 10. Oh, that shit. Jalen Waddle
dead
at 11.
on.
Had Jalen Waddle at 11.
Oof.
Chris Olave at 12. He finished at 14. Keenan Allen at 13. T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf. Not bad. Amari Cooper. Debo. And then it gets rough. I had Drake London at 22 last year, though. That motherfucker didn't finish nowhere near 22. Like 30.
He was like, I was about to say, he was like 36 or 37 or something like that. He was pretty on about Keenan Allen. I remember you being high on him, and that joker was way up there. He was like wide receiver 2 for the longest.
These redraft wide receiver rankings weren't bad last year, just going back on it.
Hey, we do what we do. Me and the Craft Man do what we do, yo.
I'm not talking about running backs, though. I ain't even going to mention my running backs. That shit's so
volatile, man. Ain't no telling. I'd have to dig
Everybody got
up.
hurt. Everybody got hurt. Nick Chubb got hurt. Austin Eckler just shit a brick. You can't even.
He's done.
Yeah.
Super done.
But it's looking back on previous rankings just to go through it a little bit.
Man, well, shoot, man. Everybody, thank y'all for listening. We're gonna wrap this thing up. Crap, you said anything to the good crowd out there yet? Or we already did that? Did we already do that part?
Yeah, we definitely gave them props. We just want everybody to get on with us, man. We need another voice in here just to give us some opinions and give us their wide receiver rankings.
Hey, come play some fantasy with us, man. We'll do a best ball with you. Come hop on there. Might not do another startup for a few years. Man, gotta get me a redraft ring, man. Got to, man. But listen, man, it's about that time to hop on off. And me and the Craft Man, we are out.
Peace.